Hey everyone, Headcanon back here with another figure review. This time it's going to be the Judge Classifieds Leatherneck figure that just came out at my local toy shop. Just a word to go into this video. Been recovering from a cold this week. So what's going to happen is as I'm going along, I'll tendency to cough. The more I talk, the more I want to cough. I'm trying to, I do a whole lot of editing on this one. So we'll see how this goes. Leatherneck was part of the G.I. Joe Real American Hero. It came out in Series 5 in 1986, which was a huge year for the G.I. Joe. Probably the bulk of my favorite figures in the G.I. Joe line came out that year as well. And of course, Leatherneck being a Marine is a special interest to me. As if you reference my my gung ho video, I am a Marine veteran, so these were kind of whenever Hasbro does a Marine figure, it's kind of special for me. What was good about this one is actually a very very solid figure. As far as classifieds go, everything worked very fine. It was very representative of the original figure. Also, it's very identifiable as a Marine, even though it's a Marine, as he was sort of outfitted and portrayed in the mid 1980s as well. So here's the front and back of the figure. It came with a backpack, the M4 rifle with the grenade launcher. The vest, very good capture of the original look of the figure, 8-corner hat and all that. From the sides of the figure, again, a good solid figure. They added some detailing, and I'm going to talk about the detailing a little bit later. But overall, it's a very simple figure. It's in camo with a vest pack, and which wasn't a whole lot more than what you wanted for a figure this time. Like I said, it's a good representation of not only the figure from 1986, Leatherneck, but also what your typical Marine infantry person would have been wearing in the mid 1980s, well into the 90s. As far as accessories go, it came with not a whole lot, but there wasn't a whole lot at the beginning. The original figure came with just a backpack and a rifle. This one comes with the removable knife, pistol for the holster, back molded backpack. A cover that fits good there because it's it's not really sunglasses, more like eye protection as well. The rifle is not that accurate to the figure. The figure used came with an M16A2 with an M203 grenade launcher on it, with the A2 being a fixed stock with that. But this is a reuse of a rifle, the M4 with the grenade launcher and the little tab-in magazines. What I didn't show here is it came with 2 fists to swap out with the hands, and also a sort of weird bracelet thing that slipped right off. It was just kind of weird, so I'm not even going to include that in with this. So looking forward, again, very good details on this one. In the 1980s, the Marine Corps was still using, and well into the 90s, gear that was still based off of the old Vietnam era H harness system with magazine pouches, canteens, H harness, things like that. Leatherneck, though, represented a special forces first recon battalion, reconnaissance battalion Marine. And so back in the 80s, special forces all over, from Delta to recons to Navy SEALs, began to experiment with different type of equipment procurements to see, and a lot of this eventually became forerunners of what the military wears today. So, excuse me, this vest that he's wearing is actually look up and find versions of this vest online. This is kind of like one of the proto tactical vests that were coming out for police and all over in the 1980s. And actually, if you look at some of the geared Delta forces running in Black Hawk Down, you can actually see this vest as well. So they did a very good job on this vest. Something nice they did was they gave him rank pins on his collars, and they looked. It's kind of a close up to kind of see if they got it right. So Leatherneck's rank was an E7 uh, gunnery sergeant, which would have 3 stripes up and 2 rockers stripes underneath, with cross rifles in the middle. So, but with this small detail, it'd be kind of hard to get the little rifle details in there. And some of it, depending on how you look at it, I tried to zoom the best I could. It looks like there's either 2 or 3 rockers underneath there. Again, it's a nice detail to have, because the Marines do not sew ranks onto their uniforms like that. And also kind of we issued unit patches as well. There was a big controversy in the 90s. I remember I was in when we transitioned from having no name tapes with our last name on it and Marines to actually putting name tapes on our uniforms, because those Marines did not want anything that identified you other than a Marine. Everybody was a Marine, so you didn't need any special identification. But the ranks were, we still needed to be able to identify rank. So the ranks were pins on the collars as well. So this is a nice molded collar. Odd thing choice I made is they molded the collar of the BDU top into the vest. So if you were to take this vest off, I know there's a lot of customizers out there that like to do that sort of thing. I have no idea what it's going to look like underneath there. If they put a collar shirt on, a collared blouse on BDU top underneath the vest, or if it just doesn't have a collar on it. So just kind of an odd choice, but it looks nice. The belt details wasn't really much of didn't really need this kind of stuff, so they've kind of made this up for the figure, but it's very, very simple. I love that it's there's none of these modular pieces they've added with the other ones that keep falling off. The radio doesn't come out of the pouches molded in, which you didn't need to have that anyway. The pistol fits very well in it. So overall, it's a good figure, good representation. They put details where it needed to be, but unfortunately, Hasbro has an issue where sometimes they want to go a little bit too far with the details and putting details on, but not getting the details right about the figure. And I know, guys, listen, I know this is a toy, so don't at me about that. But for when you're trying to portray Marines are very particular about their uniforms and accessories on it. So what they did is, in an attempt to oh, well, let me just add this too. So these are the pictures of the holster and the belt on the front and side. One of the things Hasbro still has not been able to master, though, is putting the camouflage on the inside and outside of the legs. They print it on the front and the back, but then leave this wide open space of green or tan or whatever it is. I don't know why that's so hard for them to actually do camouflage all the way around the pants legs, even though there's a lot of companies that do it. And so I don't know why Hasbro hasn't cracked the code yet. So it's just kind of odd looking, but it's a detail that I really, unless you're looking for it, you're not going to really notice it. So just kind of look at some of the detailings here. So one of the problems is that with military uniforms is that you can't, there's some things about getting details, getting it right. One of the things is one here in the middle on the cover is they can't. The Marine Corps, what they did is they went back, and what they did is they wound up trademarking the Marine Corps emblem, the eagle, globe, and anchor. When they came out with the Marpat, the digital cam in the late 90s, early 2000s, every so many inches, they've stamped the eagle, globe, and anchor on that Marpat, which trademarked the Marpat as well. So they are very reluctant to license out the eagle, globe, and anchor, which is something that probably Hasbro, if they really wanted to, could afford to do the licensing to get that. So what they did is they came up with this crazy Marine Corps symbol, and they did this on the retro gung ho for the tattoo on his chest. But what they did is an attempt to make a homage, I guess, of the eagle, globe, and anchor. they turned out making some sort of German World War II looking design. I'm not saying that folks Hasbro think the Marines are Nazis, but you came pretty close to making a design that looked like something out of World War II Germany there. So you stop doing that. Just I'd rather you just leave it blank than than uh, than trying to attempt it as well. So some of the other things too here on the left side, his rank was gunnery sergeant, which is an E8. They attempted it, but then for some reason they put a rank patch on his shoulder, which one again, Marine Corps does not do that. Even in the I think maybe they did it in Vietnam, but once we hit the 80s, that was no more. There was no more sewn on, stamped on rank patches. It went to the pins on the collars. And then again, so I don't know why they decided to add the rank patch, and then they get the rank patch completely wrong on this. So this is what this is. This is a staff sergeant's rank patch, 3 stripes up, 1 rocker down, and then the top off too. This isn't even a Marine Corps rank patch. This is an Army one. The Marine Corps one would have 2 cross rifles in that void section there in the middle. And then again, like I said, his rank is gunnery sergeant, so it should have been at least 2 rockers underneath there with the cross rifles on there. So there's an attempt to put a detail on there that didn't need to be on there, and then when even though it didn't need to be on there, you did anyway. You should have taken the time to do it right. On the other side is a patch that I guess they're trying to, again, the Marine Corps is very protective of its trademarks and logos. So I understand you couldn't get, probably the rights to use the 1st Marine Recon Battalion patch, which is what they kind of, on the original figure, it was just kind of like that diamond shaped patch with a 1 in it, for the 1st Marine Division, then 1st Marine Recon with that. And then, of course, the Recon skull. So basically what it is, they just made up a patch for this. Completely doesn't connect to any unit. I wouldn't have looked at all the Recon Battalion patches, past, and present. Couldn't find anything that looked anything like that. I mean, there's some that have like the skull and crossbones, and you put the stars there. So I guess they're trying to emulate the 1st Recon Battalion patch, but just completely made up one on their own. Again, it's one of those details that didn't need to be there. If you're going to do it, I would rather they've just put the Joe Eagle head patch on there if they're going to do something like that. So here it is. You see him next to the retro gung ho. Which first I was shocked. I think it's the first time I've actually stood the retro gung ho up to next to any classifieds figure. So I was kind of shocked at how big he was. And I thought that maybe they made some sort of a mistake when they did the retro one. But then I put him next to a bunch of other different classifieds figures I have in Leatherneck sizes up and everything else. So I guess it was a attempt to use a larger body for gung ho, because gung ho really in the comics and in his what he was meant to be was really a larger than life representation of a Marine. When gung ho first came out in the 83, the second series in 1983, his style was very reminiscent of harking back to the Vietnam era of the Marine Corps. The Marines had a very specific image in that. You saw a lot of pictures of these guys wearing nothing but flak jackets, and BD trousers, and then the ubiquitous grenade launcher there, and then the OD caps and stuff like that. So again, he was very representative of his time and his era that they were going for. And of course, as we moved into the more deeper into the series in the 80s with G.I. Joe, they were going a little bit more for a little bit more accuracy, and especially in that 86 wave, there are some kind of far out characters in that wave as well. So Leatherneck was very much a very grounded figure for that time period, and this is also how he would look. So it's a very good representation of a Vietnam era Marine in an mid 80s era of Marine. So overall, Again, very good, solid figure for a good job. I mean, not a few outrageous things to do. This will be the figure for the first time ever, though. I'm going to get the accessories to correct a few things. So the first thing is for the first time ever, I put in an order to Gridiron Props, Studios Props. I'm going to get him the correct M16 for this. Not a big fan of the M4 grenade launcher design that they use in the classified line, but that A2 M16 A2 version with the better, with the more correct mid 80s grenade launcher is going to really just bring that figure all together as well. So I'm adding him to my collection. I've got, like I said, I'm right now serving it next to Gung Ho. There's not too many more Marines left in the G.I. Joe line. There was a few here and there, and as they come out, I'll try to showcase them. Also, I'm kind of debating on whether to get the 60th anniversary classified as a Marine. They're just it's a figure I do have a lot of problems with. So I haven't convinced myself to spend money to basically buy a figure to do a hate review on. And to put it all because there's so much wrong with that figure. But it is a G.I. Joe Marine figure with that. But again, that's just a quick review of the classifieds. I think. Let me know what you think. Did anybody pick this up? Did you like it? Am I being too nitpicky? Should I just give it a pass because it's a toy line and because of and they at least they attempted to try something even though there was restrictions on it. So just let me know down below. With that, have a good day.